Shiny Pokemon are the bane of my existence. The way I see it, you can either spend your days running from encounter after encounter on the lookout for a slightly discolored Pokemon, or you can have a real life in the outside world with friends, family, and people who love you. There is no in between. To show you what I mean, I finally decided to play through Pokémon LeafGreen using only shiny Pokemon, and I'm only catching 6 ones I think are actually cool. I will also be playing on set mode and only using held items in battle. Before we begin, which is your favorite Kanto shiny? You'll see mine soon enough. And I figured since my Pokemon are going to be shiny, my character might as well be too. Man, look at that dweeb in his regular pathetic colors. What a standardized test-taking nobody. To begin with, I choose the only correct shiny starter, Charmander, because that eventually to be Red Eyes Black Non-Dragon is one of the coolest shinies to date. Though he does start out as a gold lizard, which is still kind of cool. I get this shiny guy first try, and off we go. Because of the insane shiny luck I have in this very legitimate and not at all suspicious run, you might think I cheated with a Game Shark or Action Replay to make shinies. I can assure you, I did not do that. So, you keyboard warriors can just chill. I'm skilled and lucky. Which is why, after beating Regular, I encounter another gold Pokemon, this time a Pidgey on Route 101. He looks alright, but I already have a predetermined team, and it doesn't include that bird. Turns out the old man in Viridian also has crazy luck, catching a shiny Weedle in his tutorial. See? It's not just me. Though I do find another gold-plated Pokemon in Caterpie. I never realized there were so many gold ones. This Metapod looks alright, almost like a fire type. For some reason though, there are a variety of shinies, like Pikachu here, who barely look shiny at all. I don't understand the point of those ones. If you spend countless hours shiny hunting, you want it to stand out so all can marvel at your greatness and time-wasting skills. Once I've gotten through the forest, I backtrack to give Regular a real battle. I may only have a Charmander, but he's as good as gold in my eyes. Squirtle does take some doing. The only non-resisted attacking move my Charmander has is Scratch, after all, but with a level advantage, it works out in my favor. The Brock battle likely will not, however. Let's practice on this gym trainer first. Thanks to an immediate attack boost, Metal Claw 2-shots Geodude. Well, that went much better than I expected. Maybe I do actually have a chance here.
2 seconds later.
Or not. A Rock Tomb tackle combination by Onix quickly dissuades me of that hope. After a wipeout, I try again and lose again. But since Charmander is basically level 16 already, I melt this golden idol, gaining just enough experience to evolve. I'm not having hard level caps here, so being above Brock's Onix is fine. On the next Brock attempt, Charmeleon immediately gets an attack boost from this Geodude. Onix is still a 3-hit KO, defense is his one good stat, but after dropping my speed, Brock refuses to Rock Tomb again, meaning I win well enough, getting the first badge. And if you want to get more videos, like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. My next shiny pal is found on Route 3, south of Mount Moon. But after searching in this grass patch for what felt like minutes, because it was, I'm having no luck. Sometimes you gotta move from one grass patch to another to trick the game, or not. Jeez, you'd think I was shiny hunting here with how many encounters this takes. Eventually, the 1% encounter that is Nidoran Boy shows his blue body. He looks kind of cool, like this, but fully evolved is even better. Now Red Gyarados is 100% an iconic shiny. It's the first that many in my generation ever saw, but I choose to not use this shiny that we've all had before. It's just too common for my liking. I use Mount Moon encounters to try to level up Nidoran Boy. The best move he has is Peck right now, so it's not great. Several gross shinies later, Charmeleon gets me through this mountain to learn Mega Punch. I then immediately replace that punch with a kick. I thought Nidoran could learn Mega Kick, but since he can't, Charmeleon will just take both. This brings us to another regular battle. But with that Mega Kick, Charmeleon rocks that bird. As Squirtle withdraws, an underleveled Nidoran focus energies and double kicks, hoping for several crits. But it doesn't work out that well. The Squirtle is finished off by Charmeleon. Abra is Falcon kicked, as is Rattata. Eventually, he misses twice first. That was tougher than I thought, and it doesn't bode well for Misty. First, Nidoran evolves while fighting on the Nugget Bridge. I could evolve him all the way with a Moonstone right now, but he is currently only a Poison type, and I'd rather not introduce a water weakness right now because the worst Kanto gym leader is right here. Not that it does me any good. I try a few more times, and I consistently do get past Staryu, but Charmeleon does nothing to star me. He either risks a Mega Kick miss, or smoke screens hoping for some lucky misses with Nidorino, but to no avail. After losing a number of times, I decide to ignore her temporarily to smuggle my way onto this boat. It's pretty easy when you have a ticket. Regular brags about the 40 Pokemon he's caught so far, but they're all normal palette Pokemon, i.e. not important. The bird-lizard battle is basically the same as last time. Against Wartortle, however, Nidorino is now stronger and gets a few lucky double kick crits, easily defeating the turtle. Kadabra is kicked by Charmeleon, and Raticate is kicked twice by Nidorino for the victory. After gaining a few additional levels, I backtrack to Cerulean to attempt this Misty battle yet again. Even with a crit Water Pulse to start off with, Charmeleon had a strong showing. Misty heals a bit and confuses Nidorino, but he shrugs it off with a berry and barely survives that battle with 8 HP left. It was a bit out of order, but I still got the second badge. With the Water Gym now down, it's time to get the full blue Nidoking, who promptly digs his way through Surge's team without breaking a sweat. That was way easier than the gym leaders I fought previously. I'm not catching any other Pokemon before Rock Tunnel, that includes HM users, so not only does Charmander waste a move space to learn Cut, I also have to wander through Rock Tunnel sans Flash. You'd think Charmeleon's tail would do the trick though, or his reflective golden palette. On the other side of the tunnel, I can finally get a brand new shiny. No, not you. I can barely tell the difference. I want a Vulpix. Now she looks pretty cool at the moment, but wait until she evolves. To that end, I buy a Firestone and a mysterious Water Stone that will be used shortly. Who do you think it's gonna be for? Hitting the golden fox with a rock turns it into a majestic, silvery, white, bluish fox instead. Hey, give me a break, I'm not very good with colors. I don't need to be to know how awesome that girl looks. She's also a perfect counter to Erika. She learns Flamethrower right before evolving, making this battle a cinch. She is briefly paralyzed as Erika heals, but it's nothing she can't handle. In my excitement to get a new Mon, I totally forgot to head to the Pokemon Tower, so I go there now. It's alright though, because a little bit of waiting will do regular some good. I haven't gotten the Game Corner TMs yet, but Nidoking still knows Shockwave to defeat that bird. This guy is quite versatile. Execute is flamethrowered by Ninetales, who then falls to Wartortle. This lets Charmeleon defeat it with a Kick Ember combo. Then both Growlithe and Kadabra are dogged by King. We're like halfway through the game, and Regular still hasn't found any shinies? What is he doing instead? Creating memories in the real world with loved ones? How overrated. All of my friends are Pokemon, as a famous t-shirt once said. In that vein, I take my group of friends and force them to beat up Giovanni's friends to determine who is the better friend. That's how friendship works, right? At least, that's what I've learned from Pokemon. I'm clearly the superior friend, as King destroys Giovanni's team with no real effort. After collecting my spoils of war, I return to the Pokemon Tower to find an even sadder looking Cubone, if that's possible. But more importantly, an incredible shiny Ghastly. Look at how awesome he is. The only problem is, upon evolving, it's a huge glowdown. Shiny Haunter and Gengar are the epitome of the ancient Chinese proverb, "What do you mean this is a shiny? It looks the exact same." And truer words have never been spoken. Because of its evolution's lackluster appearances, I have no choice but to run away. Be free, you wonderful Ghastly. Don't you ever evolve. Shiny Snorlax is a bit of a deeper blue color, which does look nice, but it's not one I'd immediately notice. It doesn't count as cool enough. But with that fat lard gone, I make a friend, albeit a virtual one, who gives me a Super Rod. That rod allows me to find the shiny Staryu I've been craving. This is the reason I played Leaf Green rather than Fire Red. Shiny Starmie does look cool, not incredible or anything, but I like Starmie so much, I'll take it anyway. And a few levels later, finally, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Charmeleon evolves into his incredible flying shiny form. As a kid, I spent more hours than I care to admit breeding Charmanders in Fire Red trying to find a shiny one. I never did get one, so in a way, this is a dream come true some 21 years in the making. Dang it, I don't know why I always look at the release dates for these games. It just makes me feel so freaking old. and I age even more as I fish for the 5th shiny mon in the Safari Zone. No, it's not an actual fish. I want the OG dragon, but its pink form. Isn't he beautiful? The only problem is, Dratini loves to not be caught, and the Safari Zone is notorious for sucking, making this catch without a doubt the most difficult one of the run. I lose track of how many Dratinis I've tried to catch until I'm eventually kicked out for harassing the wildlife. I sneak in a few more times and eventually catch one. Well, that was not a fun experience. She evolves, and I almost have a complete team. I'm saving the final mon for an epic battle. No, our regular rival doesn't count, though for the first time in a while, his Pokemon are higher levels than mine. Nidoking again shows off his versatility between Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, and Dig. Being a ground type, that last one is somewhat less impressive. I had hoped he would solo this battle, especially after paralyzing Blastoise, but it didn't quite work out. Whatevs, Starmie finishes the battle no problem. He also deals with Giovanni's first 2 Pokemon before swapping to Ninetales on Kangaskhan. Between a burn and several weak moves, it's a simple round. As is Rhyhorn, who is surfed by Dragonair. Did he actually think his normies could defeat my shinies? Come on. Koga seems to think so, until Starmie dissuades him of that notion. His poison Pokemon are all demolished by Psychic, a move this literal Psychic Starfish cannot learn on his own. But thankfully, there's a TM for that. With 5 badges, I return to Celadon in search of a final team member. Shiny Eevee is a solid option, but none of the Kanto Evolution shinies are that great, not like Umbreon, so instead, I buy myself a bug from the game corner. If only she could learn good bug moves in Gen 3. Oh well, even without one, she should be strong enough for Sabrina. Things start off well, but quickly spiral out of control as she hits herself repeatedly in confusion and is knocked out by this clown. Well, that was kind of sad. Charizard, in all his dark glory, gets revenge and a lucky Flamethrower crit for the win. With Sabrina down, I show off my shiny surfing sprite too. How do you like that? I surf to Cinnabar and am ready to fight Blaine. Half of my team knows Surf, so the result of this fight is not in question. At one point, Dragonair is paralyzed, but immediately sheds that paralysis, which was pretty cool. She does manage to defeat Rapidash too, and then I try to give King a shot here against Arcanine, but he is unfairly Fire Blast crit on the swap and promptly dies. Whatever, Starmie was made for this gym, in spite of Bite and a few heals. I'm honestly surprised I lost someone there. For the final gym leader, I want Pinsir to try and redeem himself. The first Rhyhorn is knocked out easily enough, but a 5-hit Rock Blast then does her in. That didn't work so well. Nidoking surfs that guy, survives a super effective Earthquake, and surfs Dugtrio too. Charizard flamethrowers Nidoqueen, getting paralyzed in the process, as Starmie again comes out to finish a gym leader with Psychic, winning me my final badge. Regular, with his still normal Pokemon, has also gotten all of the badges, leading to an inevitable quarrel. I am remarkably underleveled, but my team makes up for it with their pizzazz. Starmie defeats Pidgeot and almost dies to Blastoise, but survives with 1 whole HP. That was a close call. Execute is executed by Flamethrower. Rhyhorn is surfed, as is Growlithe, but Alakazam starts to calm mind. I swap to Ninetales as a sacrifice, allowing Pinsir to take a Psychic and respond with Strength for the knockout. That wasn't so bad. For the Elite Four, before beginning, I get all of my Pokemon to level 54 to match Lorelei's ace, and then we jump right in. Pinsir has learned Swords Dance, so naturally, she dances to the Mamushka. I had planned on a single dance, but Dugong lets her get 2. She is then Brick Breaked, no problem. Cloyster spams Protect several times, so I could have Swords Danced even more, but it should be fine. Slowbro is the one concern I have, but Secret Power paralyzes the already slow Bro, knocking it out before it can do anything. Lapras and then Jinx both fall to a Brick Break each. Now that is the showing I expected of Pinsir back in the Sabrina battle. For Bruno, all I need is Starmie. Between Surfs and Psychics, it one-shots everybody, with the exception of Machamp, who wastes his only turn to bulk up. It doesn't help because Starmie is so awesome. It could similarly destroy Old Lady Agatha, but Starmie can't hog the spotlight forever. Gengar and Golbat are both Psychicked, but after getting intimidated, I then swap to Nidoking. He has finally upgraded Dig to Earthquake, defeating that snake. Haunter levitates, but can't avoid a Shadow Ball. Last, Gengar and King trade Shadow Balls back and forth, but it's based on attack in Generation 3, not special attack, so Gengar doesn't stand a chance. Now after this battle, you might be wondering why I haven't used Dragonair in the Elite Four yet. After all, she's only one level away from evolving. And honestly, it's because Shiny Dragonite is a gross green color. Since I'm using COOL Shinies, I'm sticking with Dragonair, worse stats notwithstanding. It shouldn't matter though, as she's still strong enough to not one-shot Gyarados. Huh, didn't see that coming. She is only Dragon Raged, so it doesn't really matter. When it comes to the first Dragonair, mine hasn't learned Outrage yet, it's not till level 56, but Lance's Normie somehow has it, knocking out my dragon. Well, that's mighty unfair. Nidoking also has Ice Beam. This guy can learn basically everything and defeats both Dragonairs. The second one is frozen and does shed that skin, but it's too little, too late. Dragonite is outsped, surprisingly, and tries to protect itself with Safeguard, which, let's be honest, was a stupid move. Aerodactyl is then Thunderbolted for the knockout. Beating the final Elite Four member gets me to the champion battle. This time around, I start with Nidoking. He is Sand Attacked and Feather Danced by the non-Golden Bird, connecting with 2 Thunderbolts. For Alakazam, I swap to Ninetales to Confuse Ray and Flamethrower, but Regular quickly swaps to Rhydon instead. I decide to stay in and hope for the best, even getting a burn, but Rock Tomb still proves too powerful. Nidoking surfs him instead, and then Earthquakes Alakazam. Dragonair tries and fails to defeat Blastoise with Thunderbolts, something that Starmie does quite easily. This puts me in position to surf Arcanine once, twice, 3 times. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. It takes 5 freaking surfs before Regular admits defeat. What a waste of time that was. He still does have an Executor, who puts Charizard to sleep, and Egg Bombs, but then succumbs to Flamethrowers for the win. And with that, I have, for the very first time, beat Pokémon LeafGreen using only shiny Pokémon. And they were the cool ones too. Just look at how awesome these guys are. And believe it or not, this whole run only took 20 in-game hours. Well, that concludes my non-Game Shark or Action Replay run of LeafGreen. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next region.